Oh goodness. Hello lovebirds, TonyaTko here, and right now I'm filming in live from the sunny island of Nevis, West Indies. And I've been saying that I do the man day videos every Monday, and so the women have been asserting that they also need a day specialized to us. And I'm like, I make so many videos for so many people to empower them, but I'm gonna make a specific video, for women. We're gonna call it Woman to Woman Wednesdays, so that you can get your advice from your big sister TonyaTko on all things relating to dating, relating, and self-esteem, self-love, self-worth, etc. As you know, I'm TonyaTko, the self-love guru, here to help you learn, help you just assist you in any way that I can, with the things that I had to learn the hard way so that you don't have to. And some people say that you shouldn't listen to me because I am not yet wed and I have not yet had children, right? But I say this, I don't want you to be like me in that regard, so I give you the lessons that I learned the hard way so that you don't have to go through the same mistakes, so that you can go on out there and get married and have your children, etc., as I will, after learning through the school of hard knocks. Wow. You know what? I want to show this to you. Let me show this to you real quick. Just a moment. Look. This is right now there's like this, it's a little early in the morning, and then the sun is right above this cloud, and it just looks so heavenly and just so majestic. I just wanted to share that with you. As you know, I'm in the Caribbean, and I've made a few videos here, and I've been so just so laid back, just wanting to just lay down and just chill. But today I'm trying to keep my energy up and stop saying, stuff like that, and then zoning out in the middle of the video and stuff like that. I'm going to try to stay focused. So let's get right into today's topic. Today's topic is going to be about men, and men being in pursuit or the lack of pursuit for or towards you as a woman. And this has been, I don't know who else needs to hear this out there, but this has been a particular lesson in my lifetime. So I wanted to share this with any other young lady or young lady, older lady, whomever may need this information. Trust me, I learned the hard way so that you don't have to. And my book, I'm still writing my book, which will be out. Right now it's called Lessons from a Motherless Child, 10 Most Crucial Secrets About Love, Sex, and Self-Esteem. I learned the hard way so that you won't have to. And so this is one of the lessons that I learned. If a man is not in pursuit of you, pay attention to that, and just listen to that and take heed. Take heed. Since I've grown and evolved and have gone through some of these lessons, and especially since I've started doing the mandate videos, I've had a chance to interview a lot more men and come into contact with a lot more men, and just certain themes and certain patterns that I notice in men that that I'd love to share with you all. And basically, men are very different than women. I know that sometimes we look at things from a woman's point of view, and we're like, oh, well, if he isn't pursuing me, maybe he just needs a little bit of help. No, honey, he doesn't need any help at all. There's this hormone called testosterone that makes men even from little boys, it makes them aggressive, tumbling, playing, being competitive, etc., etc. And if a man is not actively in pursuit of you as a woman, there's something going on in his life that he knows about that you're not privy to. Either he's not where he wants to be financially, he has some loose ends that are not tied up with another relationship, or he himself emotionally just isn't in a place where he wants to be in a relationship. And then also, what I find really outstanding about men? How we as women, we how we like being taken care of so that we can be feminine and do the things that women do, and just rest in our femininity and being taken care of, or being in a situation which is not financially stressful, or not, where we are not encumbered or burdened with having to exert lots of masculine energy, like having to take care of house and home, having to do all of this by ourselves, having no support, etc. I feel like a mosquito is biting me on the top of my bottom cheek. Apparently it's out a little bit. Gracious. Okay, hold on. Excuse me. Sorry, I felt a little pinch. Okay, so anyway, you know how we as women, we like to stay rested in our femininity, and having a man who takes care of us, looks out for us, takes care of the things that need a lot of masculine exertion on it, so that we can stay fully rested, and so that we can blossom and bloom in our femininity and do and be the things that women are. Yeah, the same way we love to do that, I have spoken with even young boys. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know where it comes from in us, but even in young boys, when they start to get a sense of who it is that they are, there's this part of them that naturally wants to take care of their woman, wants to, I always talk, when I do the mandate videos, I always talk about genitalia. So if you even think about genitalia and how the man's part is on the outside and the woman's part is on the inside, and as women, how we are the natural recipients and men are the natural givers, you have to really take into account that nature, biology, these are not just whimsical ideas. These are it's biology. These are things that are ingrained in us as human beings. So there are certain things that just come naturally to us, male and female wise, which just, there are lots of studies on that. And I'm sorry, when the breeze starts blowing, I just feel so So anyway, so there are lots of studies on that, and we can get into a whole other conversation about evolutionary biology, etc. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to tell you as a woman to really pay attention to that. If he's not in pursuit, you probably need to go elsewhere, because there's something going on in his life that he as a man knows. And men can communicate a lot more, but unfortunately, the average man just does not communicate at the level that we as women do. And so I want you to keep that in mind. And I wanted to give the example of a flower. When I talk about resting in your femininity, I want you to think of a flower, and I want you to think of what a flower has to do to get a bumblebee to come and do what bumblebees do. And the flower does not have to uproot itself and hop after this bumblebee. What the flower does is it blooms in its full beautiful, colorful, fragrant glory, and the bee comes and it does what it does. So I want you to keep that in mind, and just realize that as a woman, you have to stay rested in your femininity, and you have to realize that men, they enjoy the pursuit. When a woman so moves a man, he will pursue, he will call, he will do the things that'll make you feel like the woman that you need to feel like. But every man is not for every woman. Every man, and then people go through different stages. So this may be the right man at the wrong time. And you as a woman, there are going to be certain lessons that will come into your life over and over and over again. And these are going to have to be things that you're going to have to heal as a woman. You have to learn your lessons. And the best way for life to figure out whether or not you've learned these lessons is how to present a test. Present the test. And so these things will come into your life over and over again, and it will present itself as a test until the final time where you don't fall for it, or you don't fall into that old pattern. And then and then, you know, and then perpetuate it. So heal that wound. You know, if this is a particular sticking point for you in your life, heal that wound, and then life will bring it back into your life again to see what you're going to do, to see if that wound is really healed. And then if you don't fall for it, that wound is healed, and then you're able to move on to the next portion of your life. Because believe me, there is somebody out there for you who will make you feel the way you want to feel and the way you need to feel as a woman. Like I said, every man is not for every woman, and then every man is at a different stage. So you have to trust. Yo, honey, listen. Oh, you have to trust. You have to trust that whatever it is that is stopping him from being in pursuit, whatever it is, you know, is something that is very real and very valid in his life. Men are not like women. You know, sometimes we as women, we get caught up in these, you know, in these nonsensical romances. And, you know, I talked about this in the last Man Day video, where we talked about why good girls like bad boys. And, you know, we as women, unfortunately, a lot of our entertainment, etc., comes through the form of relationships. You know, our competition, our entertainment, our drama, getting caught up in these trysts and this, and, you know, in these juicy, delicious, painful love affairs. You know, a lot of our entertainment as women come from the relationships that we choose to be in with both men and women. And I have to do a whole video about that in and of itself, because, honey, you need to find some other things to do. You know, wretched, painful, bleeding heart love that just keeps you held back. Listen, there's somebody out there for you. You just really have to do the work, honey. Do the work. Do the work, baby. Do the work. And, you know, if there's something that's going on in your life that is a particular point of pain for you, that's indication that that's some healing that needs to take place. Do the work, because believe me, the man that is waiting for you in your future is well worth the work. And it'll make all of these days before that just, you wonder why you spent so long spinning, what is that? What are you, spinning your wheels or chasing your tail? You know, I want you to get to that point. Okay, so do the internal healing. I did this series called the Self-Love to Soul Love series, and there's some exercises in there. You know, you can also come over to my website, TonyaTko.com. You know, I do a live seminar where we work on some of our internal issues. Come out for that. You know, what else can I say about this topic? There was one thing that I was thinking about when I was talking about men and the testosterone and the things that that drive men to doing what it is that they do. And then I lost my train of thought, because it's just, I don't know, it's just so beautiful. I'll give you a roundabout view before I get out of here, but I really wanted to try to remember my point. But, honey, listen, men are very, very different than we are, and men enjoy, you know what, I talk to men who have gotten, I interview men who have gotten married, right, or who have decided to get married. Right, and you know, if I could say one more thing before I end this video, right, well, I'll probably say 2 or 3 more things before I end the video, but I definitely wanted to make this point for you all. You know, I've interviewed men who have gotten married, and I interviewed them on what it is that drove them to ask the woman to marry him, and what was it about her that drove him to want to take that step, right, and into tying with holy matrimony. And there are a few different types of ways that men get married. You know, there are men who are so moved by a woman that they don't want to be without her. But there's always, I did that video, How to Get Mr. Right to Fall in Love with You. There's always this period of break in which he feels that he's going to lose her, in which after he feels that he's going to lose her, he then goes into full onslaught pursuit mode. Because, you know, men will coast in a relationship. They will coast. If he's getting everything that he needs in the coast mode, then he won't be in the capture mode. He's already captured you, and if he's getting everything that he needs, he'll just coast there. So for the most part, and I'm telling you this honestly, and I personally don't know why this is, but most of the men that I've spoken to who have asked the woman to marry him, there has been this period in which he thought he was going to lose her. And so after that, he realized that life with her was a lot better than life without her, and then so he took that step. And then there's another group of men who get married, and they got married because it just kind of flowed, the relationship just kind of flowed like into marriage. She was in pursuit of him, or she stayed on him, or even she asked him to marry him. And in those relationships, I'm going to give you this secret, and this is going to be painful for some people to hear. But in those relationships, the man is not, you know, number one, I think men in general have issues remembering anniversaries and birthdays and stuff like that. But the men who enter into the relationship where they just coast in, or the woman pursues them, or she's the one asking him to marry her, and then he goes along with it, etc. Those are the relationships in which the fire, that same fire underneath that man that gets him to, you know, to remember, to go all out, to remember the anniversaries, to do these little things, to constantly, you know, show these tokens of affection, etc. It's non-existent, pretty much non-existent. You know, one particular guy, he gosh, this is so sad, and I don't want to say this out loud, but one particular guy that I interviewed, he was like, I was like, how did you know that this was the woman for you? I asked him, and he was like, well, you know, I still don't know. He doesn't even know whether he settled or not, because she always stayed on him, and he never had that chance to really kind of like realize how great life is with her. So she always stayed on him, wouldn't let other women come near, always did this, stayed underneath his mother, and, you know, had the and stayed, always was there, even when he didn't want her and was like kind of pushing her off or whatever. They just got to a certain age where he was like, well, you know what, I might as well, my parents already know her, or whatever, blah blah blah. And then like when anniversaries and stuff come around, he's like, you know, whatever. And when birthdays and stuff come around, he's like, you know, whatever. And as you as a woman, I want you to be able to have a guy who's not just like you know, whatever. I want you to have a guy who's like, I love her. You know, I spoke to one particular guy. I interviewed one guy. Excuse me. Excuse me. I interviewed one particular guy, and when he asked his woman to marry him, he this is what he did. Because, you know, I asked men about the proposal, etc. This is what he did. He found out her ring size. He found out, you know, he knew what size dress and her style and all of this. And he went out and he bought her a whole new outfit, rented a limousine. He bought her a whole new dress, rented her a limousine. The limousine picked her up, you know, early in the day, took her around, got her hair done, had a dress waiting for her, right? So all she had to do was just get picked up, had her hair done, put the dress on. She didn't even know where she was going or what was happening. The limo brought her to the restaurant, and she had on a dress, and he was there waiting for her, and everybody in the restaurant was in on it. And then he got down on one knee, and she started to cry, and this, that, and the other. And I mean, you know what? It's so beautiful. And what you want is you want a man who's so inspired to go through that. I mean, you do want that, don't you? I mean, I want that for you. You know, so rather than coasting in a relationship where the passion is dampened and everything is blasé, I really want you to have somebody who truly appreciates you, and you light their fire. You know, you put the fire under them, and you get them to, yeah, I can't really fully express myself, but I hope you understand what I mean. And I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, even though I never really remembered my point. And I know when you know what I'm going to do? Underneath the video on YouTube, I'm going to put the, once I watch the video, I know it's going to jog my memory. So I'm going to put underneath the video, so just click the show more button, and I'm going to type out what it was that I meant to say then. And so, so that's pretty much it. Listen, stay in touch with me. I am on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. And so and then also on my website, you can always stay in touch with me on my website, which is TonyaTko.com. Here, I'll show you right here. under the video is my website, TonyaTko.com. I'm also facebook.com/TonyaTko show, and Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest is at TonyaTko, and that's Tonya with an O. That's Tonya. You can see under here how to spell my name. All right, so listen, let's hug me. Oh, I love you guys very. I love you all very, very much. Now go out there and love one another, but most importantly, love yourself. And so if you tell me what you thought of my first Woman to Woman Wednesdays, you know, if you have any topics that you'd like to submit, please come over to my website, which is TonyaTko.com, and submit the topic. I don't typically give people advice because you who are in the situation, you know a lot more about the situation than you're giving credit for, and I don't want to take your power away, because you have to assess the situation. You know what you know. I mean, people write me letters, and in the letters you're expressing what it is that you know that you need to do. So I don't want to take your power away. I want you to maintain your power. So I don't give advice. If I do give some advice, I'm like, you already know what to do. I don't, because you know what, you know a lot more about the situation than I do. You know that you know the ins and outs of things that you're not even sharing with me in the letter. You know, so that's pretty much it. So listen, I love you all very much. Okay, and I want the best for you. I don't want you to fall into some of the same traps that I fell into without having, you know, the guidance of a mother or an older sister. So I make these videos for free so that you can learn from my lessons, so that you can listen. The future that's waiting for you out there is a beautiful future. So do the work, and, you know, acknowledge some of these things now. Acknowledge it. Do the work. Don't be afraid to do the work. I know it's painful. Believe me, I know it is. You know, I admitted in the Self-Love to Soul Love series, you know, some of the traps that I fell into, and some of the pain that I felt, and the things that I went through. And, you know, and so it's easy for me to talk about now because I've healed this pain. And it may seem like this is a lesson that it's like, oh, aha, you know, it's like, oh, that's such a simple idea. But it takes a lot of work to uncover these simple ideas, and I want you to do the work. Do the work. Okay? So anyway, TonyaTko, and I'm out. Peace. Oh, filming in live from the beautiful island of Nevis, West Indies. I'll give you one quick roundabout before we go, okay? So listen now. Here we go. There's the ocean down there. There is Nevis Peak up there. Peace.